The support you guys have given for the outlook of 2024 has been phenomenal. My ghosts are crying their eyes out. But today, you guys didn't come to see these ghosts cry. You came to see a challenge video. Now, as I specified in the 2024 video, I will not be going all the way into hardcore mode directly now. However, you see on the screen there's Pokemon Crystal, and the title is Pokemon Blue. What's going on, Retro? Something is fishy here. No, nothing's fishy at all. Instead of injecting our starter into the game, we're going to go a bit of the back way route. Now, a small disclaimer into this, why I posted the other video on the other channel alongside this for lore purposes. There is no gender differential in this game that you can set. However, the characters, there's a male and a female character in the lore. However, the one that I want you guys to be very understanding of on the channel as far as lore is concerned is the female character named Red Shadow. We'll get into it a little bit later, or you'll already know what I'm talking about if you've already checked the video out on the other channel. However, that's neither here nor there. In order to get our starter, we have to actually get to a particular part in the game, so we need to pick this Totodile. We're going to call this Totodile Brock, after Brock Crocodile. Now, remember, guys, on my other channel, I do indies and different stuff like that. So Brock Crocodile is something I've been following for about 5 years, however long they've been going through it, and I haven't actually played it, so Brock Crocodile is definitely going to be our crocodile for the start of this game. You're like, hey, channelers don't use Totodiles. You're right, and Totodiles also aren't in Pokemon Red. Just stay with me, guys. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Whoa! Hold on. What happened there? So, as you guys may have noticed with channelers and what type of Pokemon they use, we are able to walk through walls in this challenge. I thought you guys would find that a little bit cool for the lore and a niche that this character could do. And because of that, we're going to be able to stand on the countertop in this game and buy some Pokeballs. We're going to buy Pokeballs, and we're going to go ahead and go into our encounter time, Sprout Tower. You guys did pay attention that I started the game at nighttime so we can find our encounter, which is a Ghastly. Instead of generating our starter to be a set starter in Pokemon Red, I decided to go a bit more traditional route and go through Crystal to get the Ghastly. We are going to be naming our Ghastly Vivian after the upcoming rating of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, which is hopefully set to come out sooner rather than later. Now, you guys can check out my DVs here, and that's going to be really cool because you can check out those DVs for the stats, and that's going to be very, very helpful later on. 13 Special. The very first one that I caught off camera on Gold was really bad, but you're like, wait, we can't trade with the time capsule. That's where Blue Moon Falls comes in. Blue Moon Falls is going to allow us to click 2 different save files and then initiate a trade value into that cartridge game so that one of the cartridge games are going to get the Pidgey that I sent over named Airraiser that I caught in Pokemon Red, and Pokemon Red is going to get our starter, Vivian. So you can watch that just for nostalgia purposes, those of you that like the old generation Game Boy trading. Like I said, guys, I'm very, very much looking forward to this challenge, walking through walls and a couple of the cool things that you guys will see. I've even got a planned special encounter for those of you that are interested in that. I think it'll make for a very cool, neat introduction to the lore and for the video itself. The trade was successful. We're definitely not going to do that again. We are back on the game now that we are ready to start on. We're going to release our starter and get started with our real starter, Vivian from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. Welcome to look at those stats one last time before we get started, and let's go ahead and get started with this ghastly, haunting task and challenge. So we're going to start things off with Viridian Forest, and we're going to kill some Weedles and get to the end of the forest. Now, there's a small, rather large oversight that I made in this beginning of the video. Let me know if you catch it down in the comment section down below. It's going to become pretty apparent when we start these battles. There's a couple of big problems with Brock. Number 1, Lick is bad. Number 2, Hypnosis is bad. Because Full Heal clears both of these problems, especially the Onix who has Bide. And Bide is a really, really big issue. Because all he does is screech and then bite, and then the 1 or 2 turns we do get to hit it, it doubles that damage, and there is just no way that Vivian can win this at this level. However, on the very, I would say, 2nd or 3rd, maybe 4th attempt, was recording. I'm working on trying to dwindle down like all of the gameplay footage into like a smaller amount. So this is only the second video I've ever done like this. There is one on a different channel that you can check in the comment section down below if that is something that you're interested in seeing. However, on this attempt right here, Vivian goes down to 7. Of course, Vivian is loafing around, and now we are almost out of power points. And what's really bad with that is if we struggle against this rock type, well, we're going to get rocked. Quite literally. Ghastly has no defense at this particular stage, and Onyx has a ton of defense and higher speed. Which we actually have a little bit higher speed, but it doesn't matter because we can't really do any damage to him. On this attempt, we get through the Geodude pretty well. We're now dealing with the Onyx directly, which the biggest problem is the fact of the full heals that could just get rid of everything. What we need is a critical hit, but the problem is we need a crit on a turn that he is not setting up Bide, or that he just forgets that his Pokemon is paralyzed and doesn't use a full heal. None of those happen, but he cannot heal any of the damage with potions, so we have a very close. With 4 remaining HP and a level up, we do finish off for the Boulder Badge. That's the first badge. We're going to go into Mount Moon, go through some doors, and remember we can walk through walls, so we can very easily get to this point, pick up the rare candy, walk through the houses, and we are ready to face Misty. Nah, not quite. See? This is what happens when we step in the wrong place. We go to Celadon City, get the Eevee, and then we step through again to the daycare, and we are trying to level up Vivian to the point of Haunter. However, we're not there yet. We don't stand a chance versus Bubble Beam at this level. And let me tell you about Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto's an even bigger problem than what Onyx was. Simply put, there's Sand Attack, there's Lick that doesn't affect it. We can't damage it. We have to struggle. So I'm kind of thinking we're going to need some more moves. Not only that, we're probably going to need a higher level. We are bricked. This is sped up a lot, as you can see here. There is absolutely no way that we can affect this thing. Finally, we get some training in, and we hard level up to the point of Haunter. And then, cut back to the music. We go to Blue Moon Falls again, and once this time we're going to trade a spare Ghastly, the one I caught from Gold version that I did not record, the one with bad stats. I'm going to trade it over to Red version and get the Gengar and then trade the Gengar back after getting it evolved. So, it evolved, and for some reason Blue Moon Falls tends to rotate the sprites around. Like, if one of the people are using a Gen 2 game, sometimes the sprites stay Gen 2 instead of Gen 1, and that's what happens here. That's why the Gengar, instead of being Generation 2 to Generation 1, shows up differently. It shows up whatever version all the way to Generation 2. But I just wanted to show you guys that it was traded and set up for a Gengar, because we're going to need Gengar to have any chance to be able to take Bubble Beams from Starmie. Starmie has a high special at this range of the game, a high crit rate, and a high speed rate for this level. Remember, we got this thing fresh. We did not generate it. We did not mod it. We did not do anything like that. We caught it, did everything. So we got Mega Punch and Bide. We actually picked up Mega Punch in Mount Moon. I went back and picked it up, and then Bide from Brock. Let me show you why this is going to be really crucial for Misty. And it's the fact that we can take Water Guns and Bubble Beams and pay it back with Bide. Because like Starmie, Gengar has a very high special rating in Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow. And that is going to be crucial and very important for us to take those hits and then be able to attack back. Once again, level cap way above it. I'm 29. This thing will not obey. We catch a Hypnosis that doesn't affect. Now, the cool thing, I don't know about you guys, when I was playing Pokemon at a very young age, I never came across this because my childhood friend that was down the street from me never actually traded me higher level Pokemon. However, we do hit a Mega Punch, and through that Mega Punch, we obliterate Staryu in one hit, and out comes the Starmie, which we set up a Bide on. We take one Water Gun, we take it great. We take a second Water Gun, we take it pretty well as well. We take a crit Water Gun at that. Vivian unleashes that energy, and we do a very nice chunk to the Starmie. We take a Bubble Beam, we lose our speed, we're at 28 speed. We go for a Hypnosis as we take a Water Gun, and we use instead Lick, which doesn't affect Starmie because it's a Psychic type, and for whatever reason, Ghost types are immune, or Psychic types are immune to Ghost damage. However, we do hit a Mega Punch after that, and we narrowly take the second badge, the Cascade badge. Wow, you're too much! Alright! Alright, so we're going to have the Cascade badge, and we are going to press on, press on, press on. Cascade badge makes everyone level 30. Now, this is very good for our challenge because we are walking through walls. And because of that, we can go places sooner rather than later. Let me show you what I mean by that. We're going to go through Misty's gym really, really quickly. Once again, guys, this is sped up. We're going to now go take on our rival. And our rival's going to be much easier, because remember, we can actually attack this thing now with Mega Punch, and we're level 29, and he's level 18. We obliterate this thing in one shot, well, two shots, I apologize. Gust is not flying type. We are not playing yellow, so Mega Punch gets rid of the Pidgeotto, and down goes this threat. And the rest of the rivals team, well, it's not very good. However, we're already at 30, so we have got to watch our leveling. That being said, we cannot lick because Abra is a psychic. Retro, you are the only person, I swear, that could get beaten by a stationary Abra because you have a move that is completely ineffective against its type. Yeah, that sounds about right. So we Mega Punch the rat and miss. And of course the Rattata can't hit us anyway, so that's kind of cool. And we take it out with one Mega Punch. Down that goes. As we get 274 more experience, in comes the Bulbasaur, which we also punch to oblivion. Now, because we can walk through walls, we get to skip all of these trainers and go straight to Bill's, get the SSN ticket that we need, and then we can just very easily go into Vermilion City if you guys are catching on to what I'm saying. So, he better get rolling, smell me later. Nah, I can walk through walls. I'll smell you later through the wall. Alright, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and make a save here, and we are going to go into the next part of the game, which is going to be sped up significantly more. Here we go. We are on the SSN. You can actually skip the rival on the SSN. I guess that cutscene triggers when you come around the corner. So we go walk through walls, and we get around it. And remember, we don't need to fight anything because we need to be and go to Lieutenant Surge at the particular level so that we are going to be able to fight Lieutenant Surge without messing up the level cap. That being said, we are playing Pokemon Blue, so he has 3 Pokemon instead of the others. This is so cool. We can just walk through the wall. It's like, yeah, we're a ghost. We can walk through the wall. No electric puzzle for me today. I don't feel like it. That thing is so frustrating. Guys, let me know in the comment section if the electric puzzles as a kid drove you absolutely crazy. It's so crazy as an adult now seeing the diagram and where the switches were. It was just insane. So, here comes a ball, and what do we do with balls? We punch them in the face, and then, well, we definitely don't do that. So, we punch them in the face, and then comes Pikachu. We punch him in the face. As Vivian is now level 31, so Raichu falls asleep to Hypnosis instead of getting hit with a Mega Punch. But it works out fine, because here comes the Bide. 2 turns of sleeping. We don't get anything here, but here comes Thunderbolt number 1 and Thundershock with a crit, Thunderbolt, and then after all that, we pay all that damage back. 2 Thunderbolts and a Thundershock, and we take out Lieutenant Surge. Now, we are definitely teaching Vivian Thunderbolt. We are definitely going to need this coverage. Lick has not been helping us at all, so we are going to replace it with Thunderbolt. Now we are going to head over to the Snorlax. Are you okay, man? And we are actually going to use our walk through walls to get through and go and get Psychic at Mr. Psychic's house. Go through and get the Eevee. Actually, not even get the Eevee. We'll just go the back way into Erica's gym. We didn't have to actually fight this trainer, but I felt merciful, so I killed both of them. And now we're on to Erica. Using our walk through walls, we're going to go directly to Erica, and we are going to challenge her to a floral contest. I mean, a Pokemon battle. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So we should do fine here. While Gengar doesn't have the Psychic typing, he has Poison, so he resists everything. However, we're still having issues because we're way too high a level. But even if Thunderbolt is a clean 3-hit KO on that Victor we do hit a Psychic through there by clicking Thunderbolt because it decides what it wants to do instead. I think the glitch Snorlax had an effect on the battle and the game itself. Not too sure about that, though. Actually, here comes the Psychic. We do not knock this thing out. Also, really cool thing I learned in this particular playthrough about, I don't know if it's just red, blue, and yellow in the Game Boy games, but when you wrap, even if it's completely immune, you still get a free swap. It's pretty neat, actually. Like, it still goes through the turns where you would have to go through the wrap, but you don't take any damage, and you can still use wrap as effectively and swap and get a free swap and all that. Anyways, now we go down in the game corner to get the lift key, the very last step before the Sylph Scope, before we get our actual encounter of Ghastly, which is only going to be like 20-ish or something. However, we will need one of those because channelers do use Haunter as well. Now, I don't know if I've ever seen a channeler use a Gengar, but I mean, give me a break here. We're only using a couple of Pokemon. But that is really cool because I do have that secret encounter that I was talking about. It's going to make for some really, really cool content. So I'm going to go and catch a Doduo on the other side of Celadon City. Call it the no-fly zone. It's going to be our flyer that can't fly, but that's fine. We're going to now go back and navigate to Lavender Town. We do have the Sylph Scope as we go to the mart, pick up some Great Balls, because we know we need another Ghastly and Haunter. Here comes Corey to challenge us, always trying to take down the Retro. And finally, for the first point in 15 minutes, we have a Gengar that actually listens. We obliterate both his first Pokemon with a Thunderbolt, go up to level 36, and Growlithe is absolutely no match. Corey, you've been lagging behind training those Pokemon. I have been smashing things with a Gengar. And, yeah, smashing things with a Gengar. And here you are getting absolutely destroyed. So our hidden encounter, you guys may have thought it might have been the ghost from from the Lavender Tower, from the Pokemon Tower. You can actually catch the ghost. However, it will mess up your game really badly. So I am instead going to catch Cubone called Mirai. Now, if you have played through the original trilogy, you know that Cubone's mother is in Pokemon Tower, and I don't know if you've caught on to my hidden encounter yet, but that will be it. We're going to catch a second Ghastly. This one we're going to call Chauncey from Luigi's Mansion. I've only played the first one, so if you've played the other ones, please don't spoil them down in the comments. Here we go. We're going to unveil the ghost's identity, which is going to be the Marowak. Now, you might be saying, Retro, you cannot catch that. That is not yours. And you're right. We're just going to crit take it down with a Psychic. Ghastly's going to evolve, or Chauncey's going to evolve into our lovely Haunter. And that is our second encounter. We're going to go ahead and restart the game here as we go into this. Remember, we're not going to actually be lame and use multiple Gengars. So now I'm trying to get Mirai to evolve into Marowak. And you're like, that's not a ghost type. You're kind of right. I thought it would be a really cool and nifty encounter, but I'll get into that in just a moment. Now we're going to use our awesome ability to walk through walls, and still apparently go into trainers, and finally reach Fuchsia City. Fuchsia City is not going to be too bad because we do have Gengar, and I was thinking at this point that I have my idea, which is my encounter, which is Ghost. Now let me explain myself. Ghost has Stab Bone Club, which is super effective on everything Koga has, but we shouldn't be taking damage from this. Not that much. We should be Ghost Ground. We should have a 4 times not very effective to poison type attacks. However, the Game Shark code and the way that I've used this, every time I swap that Pokemon in, it permanently gains those other typings. So now, things that are not affected or properly affected by different things are now affected by things, because everything is basically one certain typing. He goes into Weezing, I go into Chauncey, and I swap into Vivian, and Toxic badly poisons Gengar. And as you know, something is wrong here, because I actually changed it to ground, pure ground typing, which is why I do not have too much damage from Sludge. Now we're going to go into Sabrina after we finished off Koga. We're going to use our walk through walls, go back to Saffron City, skip all the teleporters and the walls, and Sabrina is our next fight. Chauncey, this is going to be one of our most difficult fights, though, because Sabrina has Alakazam, which can absolutely maim everything on our team. We do live with 2 HP and miss a Hypnosis, so Chauncey didn't do anything. And the whole point of this encounter was going to be phenomenal, because if Marowak was ghost typing, it was immune to Psychic. Oh, I got that backwards, don't I? Yeah. I had that all backwards in my head. However, I thought it would have been a really cool thing, because it wouldn't have been weak to Psychic. Like the poison types in my teams, I thought it would be a very cool encounter. However, we're still missing an encounter, and Marowak isn't cutting it. I'm guessing all of the settling of the spirit being the mother of the child kind of wore it out a bit. So now Vivian takes the Marsh Badge at level 41. And we don't have to get out of the way. No, man, you just get out of my way. I could just step right through you. Yeah, exactly. Get out of my way. So, Sylph Company is going to be no problem because we can immediately go to the actual final floor. We can actually skip the rival fight if we wanted to. So now we are going to teach Dig to Ghost. I'm still thinking I can get this encounter to work properly. So now we're going to go to Pallet Town and go all the way to Cinnabar Island. Think about it. We don't have to go through Pokemon Mansion because we can simply walk through the door as it was open. So that is a very nice change of pace. Back to Pallet Town, where it all started, where we were late for our very first starter, even though this game isn't based on the anime. I'm sitting there looking at the water, and I don't have anything that can surf. But I have an idea for that. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Or do you know what I'm talking about? If you don't, you'll find out in just a couple minutes. I'm actually off screen implementing it right here at this part. I was going to speed through it, but it actually didn't take that long. So, we're going to fly over to the Pokemart. And when we go to the Pokemart and talk to the guy at the Pokemart, because we didn't stand on the counter, he offers us an item with all question marks for 0. And I don't know if you guys know, but that item is none other than the surfboard. We're going to use the surfboard to surf all the way down to good old Cinnabar Island. And you know what? I'm just not really feeling Pokemon Mansion today. God, as a kid, the door is locked. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to walk through walls and get to this. I'm going to give Ghost one more chance. It was Mirai, but now it's Ghost. Because, like I said, I thought it was kind of symbolic. Ghost with all capital letters. It's the original thing that you run into in the Pokemon Tower. So I thought it was kind of cool. So anyways, I'm going to go into Ghost after I put this Growlithe to sleep. And he goes for his Super Potion. I go for Dig, and we one-shot it. So, all things good so far. Go into Ponyta, go for Dig again. We don't one-shot it. Go for Bone Club, so we two-shot it with Bone Club. But we can't seem to hit the dadgum thing. And finally, I dig a hole and smash the Ponyta into oblivion. In comes the Rapidash, which Stomps doesn't do anything. And why is Stomp not very effective? What type are we? Rock? I'm so confused. We have so many type differentials going on here. I don't even know if we're ghost typing anymore. But it's okay. The idea was cool in and of itself. However, it did not work out. So finally, after we get the Volcano Badge, I decide that it's time to bench Ghost. I think it's time to give something else a chance. So we go back to Pokemon Tower to catch Ghastly, and this one's gonna be Clyde. The original retro version of, as you guys have guessed it, from Pac-Man. Clyde, one of the original ghosts. However, we now refight Lieutenant Surge.
Retro, you can't do that.
I mean, I just did, and I got another Thunderbolt. That way I didn't have to multiply and glitch up my Hall of Fame and all that stuff. Surfboard actually doesn't glitch any of that up, so that's kind of interesting. Alright, Rhyhorn versus Clyde. We now have some moves, we've leveled things up, and we have some attacks. We have redone our movesets, and we are rolling with Ice Punch. I'm going to let everybody have a turn. Chauncey is going to finally be done being a whiny baby, goes for a Hypnosis and a Dream Eater. And Clyde does the same thing to this sleeping Nidoking that doesn't die after the fact. I actually had to go back and use the codes to rechange my types to their original typing because I messed with the original typing. So, that's what happened. So, Clyde goes for, or Rhydon goes for Fisher, but I'm way lower level, so, you know, it's whatever. 2-hit KO with Mega Drain, and finally, we are going to face Corey one more time before the Pokemon League. Clyde, the Red Ghost, obliterates his Pidgeot in 2 hits, takes out his Rhyhorn with a Mega Drain, and Thunderbolt does not quite KO, but you know what? Corey is enraged and just goes for a simple Dragon Rage, and this thing goes down, and now Clyde gets all of his HP back with a Dream Eater on this Sleeping Growlithe, and now we put the Alakazam to sleep, and we can chip away at it with Thunderbolts until it wakes up and kills Clyde. Clyde, you should be used to that with Pac-Man, my friend. You should be used to it. Anyway, Chauncey lives to fight another day, and the AI is bad, goes for Reflect twice, and we take it out with a Mega Drain. And finally we have Venusaur versus Vivian. 42-53. This is where it starts getting hard because the level curves are getting bigger, but a Psychic finishes off our rival, and we are at our first attempt of the Elite Four in 24 minutes. Clyde faces off against Dugong. Now, if you guys don't know, Dugong has some really, really broken AI in this game and will always go for rest. So, that being said, Clyde puts on quite a show. There's 2 KOs for Clyde. He gets the Slowbro asleep. And after 3 amnesias, I'm a little concerned. I'd like a crit, please. Can I have one of those? I do. I get a crit on the Mega Drain. Let's go. Then a Thunderbolt goes through. It wakes up, I put it back to sleep, and we take it out with Mega Drain, maybe, hopefully. Go for another Hypnosis. Can we take it down after a Mega Drain and a Thunderbolt? We do not. Here comes the Super Potion, but it's not enough. We put it back to sleep again. Clyde is putting on quite a show. He is here to show he is the top ghost. He's been munched and destroyed by Pac-Man over and over. Here comes Jinx, and we get frozen solid. I'm going to tell you, I had like 12 resets, and every single time the RNG froze my Gengar with Ice Punch. Every single time. So Chauncey goes down, and Clyde doesn't take an Ice Punch because it's a crit. Alright, attempt 2, a couple more levels in, let's do this. Clyde, you put on quite a show the first time, let's see if you can do it again. Maybe 3 Thunderbolts to take down Dugong, and Dugong goes down. Alright, Cloyster has paper-thin special defense, 2 Thunderbolts. This time, I decide to get some health back, and I get it in range before it starts setting up all of those amnesias. So it's not quite as boosted as it was last time. It's at half health. I need 1 crit to get rid of it. Come on, 1 crit. Where is it? There it is. Thunderbolt takes it out. And now we are dealing with the Jinx with Vivian. We get a crit Fire Punch and we still don't KO the thing. We get frozen solid. We get crit. And then we get crit twice. Both Clyde and Chauncey go down. The 3rd time in a row that we get frozen rock solid. Finally, we put this thing to sleep. It doesn't stay asleep. We live an Ice Punch on 7 HP. Mega Drain crit. And we try to wear this thing down a little bit. We get a crit on the Dream Eater. And we do finally take it out after this Super Potion. And Mega Drain and Nightshade is enough to take the first win versus Lorelei. Alright, Bruno usually is pretty free, and that's pretty much the same thing here. We crit Mega Drain his Onix. We can simply Psychic his Hitmonchan with Vivian. We could Psychic his Hitmonlee with Vivian. And then in comes the Onix that we can just go for another Mega Drain with Chauncey to give Chauncey some playtime, get another crit that we didn't need. And finally a Psychic is 2-hit KO, 46-58. You guys can see the level curve differential getting a little bit harder. Clyde is going to evolve, but we're going to keep him as the ghost that he is. He has been doing phenomenal for what he is, and as good as everyone else. So now it is time to face Hagatha. We get her Gengar asleep, get a Dream Eater off, and get it pretty decently low as we get hit in confusion. I decide to go to Chauncey and double back into Vivian, and then double back into Vivian and get a situation where I can hopefully take her out with a Psychic, and I take her out with a second one. So I've got a sleeping Chauncey, and in comes Clyde to do work. He gets a Hypnosis on the Golbat. He can easily Dream Eater, knock the Golbat into a nice range, get all the HP back. Burn Sleep turns with Chauncey as Chauncey gets brought back up. He goes for Haze, eliminating our confusion, and that's really nice because now I ain't got to deal with that, but he does confuse me on the way out. Haunter comes in and finally knocks out Clyde. Vivian comes in, brings her Haunter really low as a Nightshade, doesn't quite do it, but Vivian is the best partner in Paper Mario, and she is here to prove it as she crit knocks out Arbok, knocks out her Haunter, and then we are faced with her level 60 Gengar that we just Dream Eater and crit with Chauncey, and Chauncey puts this thing together after 2 Dream Eaters, and Agatha is down. What that old Duff sees in you now. You're the hag, not me. Anyways, now we are going to go ahead and face Lance. It is time to take that championship throne. We have deserved it forever. Clyde is going to lead And you know what? There has been too many times that he hasn't killed Gyarados. Well, that happened again. He didn't kill him one hit, but he got a useless crit on the second time, and then we killed it. So we're gonna go ahead and put this Dragonair to sleep. Get a crit. Go, Clyde. Clyde is colliding here. Those Dream Eaters and a Thunderbolt ends that Dragonair. We are at full HP, and we are up against another Dragonair. Nightshade is not doing it. Dragon Rage isn't doing it either. And a Mega Drain finishes off. We're still in nice green health, and Hyper Beam and Bite don't do anything. So a Dream Eater from Chauncey with a crit brings it down low, and a Nightshade brings it down even lower, and then we just finish it off with an Ice Punch that Bite isn't effective with Vivian. God, Aerodactyl is so bad in Generation 1. 2 Ice Punches seal the deal as we freeze him rock solid. And you know what? For our last fight versus Corey, you know, he has proven himself to be the best of the ghosts in the Pac-Man generation of games. So I let him evolve into Haunter. And let's see what he does. Immediately almost dies to Pidgeot. God, I wish I had a de-evolution spray. That's alright though. Reflect is set up. Couple Thunderbolts on this sleeping Alakazam. Full restore happens. There is no crit going on, and down it goes. So you didn't really deserve to evolve. That's how bad that my game felt about that, is there was a disconnect with the joystick. Vivian is brought low. There is no freeze with the Ice Punch. I'm trying to pull a Corey, and there's 3 freezes, and I don't get any of them. So finally, I decide to Max Potion up my Gengar and knock him out with an Ice Punch, leaving down just the Rhydon at level 49, who goes down to a crit Ice Punch. Vivian is now level 50 as we Thunderbolt the Gyarados, knock it out because of the crit, and in comes his final Pokemon, the Arcanine. We get burned. Thunderbolt does it. Oh, his final Pokemon, excuse me, Venusaur. Ice Punch doesn't freeze, and we got a Razor Leaf that's super effective. What happened here? Yeah, remember that thing that I messed with earlier where I was a ground type? Yeah, that's what happened, and I couldn't get this fixed. And I actually went back and replayed the battle before the evolution. I told you I would use that de-evolution spray to de-evolve you to Ghastly. And let's see how he does this time. Well, still no freezes on the Alakazam. We full heal onto the Vivian as a Reflect gets set up. 2 Psybeams, and Vivian is going at it all by her lonesome with a special drop, mind you. We finally get the freeze that we're looking for. Take out the Alakazam with a Thunderbolt as Vivian goes up to level 50. This time we do not freeze the Rhydon, but the Rhydon's moveset is terrible because Corey's a bad player. We go ahead and Thunderbolt the Gyarados, which we take it on in 1 hit without a crit as the Arcanine comes in, which we easily 2-hit KO. I would say 2-hit KO, but we get a crit, and for whatever reason it doesn't affect Vivian. So I think at this point we're actually Ground Ghost, which is actually kind of weird because I think we would have actually taken a Razor Leaf. We go for an Ice Punch as we take a Solar Beam, not really. Oh, because we max healed Chauncey to deal with this thing, and we fully heal Vivian as well. As Vivian comes in for the final time, we seal it with 2 Psychics. Just kidding, he goes for a full Restore, so it's probably going to take 3 Psychics. Special drops. Go for a Fire Punch and burn it into Oblivion and burn up Corey's hopes and dreams of being the champion. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was an amazing video to introduce lore to the channel. If you still don't understand the lore of the character, please go check out the video on the Retro Replays channel to find out more about the character. I'll talk a little bit about who the character is and what she's about so that you can learn about it. There's the Ghastly Hall of Fame for you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It was quite a challenge at the end. Definitely required some items. Hopefully I'll do more challenges in the future. I'll see you guys in the next one. Power on, power off, and take care.